nearly $140 billion in Russian oil purchased. A 50% tariff slapped on by Washington. And now, after 4 years, Vladimir Putin just landed in New Delhi, and Donald Trump's pressure campaign hasn't worked. On December 5, 2025, the Russian president sits down with India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the 23rd India-Russia summit, their first since Putin launched the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. The timing reveals everything. Trump explicitly targeted India with punitive tariffs in August for funding Putin's war machine through oil purchases. Yet billboards across Delhi celebrate old friendship as these two leaders prepare to deepen ties in energy, arms, and strategy. Here's what's really happening and why Washington's leverage is crumbling. Putin arrived in New Delhi on Thursday for meetings spanning defense procurement, nuclear cooperation, and the future of their energy relationship. According to India's Ministry of External Affairs, discussions will cover all aspects of the special and privileged strategic partnership. The language signals more than diplomacy. It's defiance. Russia's spokesperson Dmitry Peskov told reporters Tuesday that sales of fighter jets and S-400 surface-to-air missile systems would be high on the agenda. Israel's concerns, not mentioned once. This follows documented escalation in their partnership. In September 2025, Modi traveled to China for his first visit in 7 years, where he and Putin held an hour-long conversation in a limousine. Later that month, India sent dozens of troops to Russia's Zapad military exercises, drawing sharp criticism from Brussels. According to the Financial Times, India's bilateral trade in goods with Russia reached $68 billion in the financial year ending March 2025, up from just $13 billion in 2022. Here's why this partnership survives Trump's pressure. India imports 35 to 40% of its crude oil from Russia, compared to just 2% before the Ukraine invasion. The leverage runs both ways. Russia needs India as its largest seaborne crude customer after Western sanctions. India needs Russian arms. Moscow still supplies military equipment despite diversification efforts. When Trump imposed the 50% total tariff in August, calling Modi out for helping fund Putin's war, Delhi didn't blink. Beyond the headlines, the economic realities explain India's calculation. According to Carnegie Endowment analysis published November 20th, discounted Russian oil saves India billions annually, a critical factor for an economy serving 1.4 billion people. Trump can threaten tariffs, but he can't change geography or decades of defense dependency. The Cold War legacy matters. When India fought Pakistan in 1971 to support Bangladesh's independence, the Soviet Union sent nuclear submarines to the Bay of Bengal, while America sided with Islamabad. That memory runs deep in Delhi's strategic circles, yet cracks are appearing in the oil relationship. India's largest conglomerate, Reliance Industries, stopped importing Russian crude on November 20th, following U.S. sanctions on Rosneft. Reuters reports that India's Russian oil imports are set to hit 3-year lows in December 2025. But here's the complicating factor. The Vadhanar refinery, India's second largest, backed by Rosneft, continues processing Russian crude despite UK and EU sanctions. Meanwhile, Russia is pivoting toward arms and nuclear energy to maintain influence as oil sales decline. Let's be clear. This summit won't end India's gradual shift away from Russian oil. The sanctions are working, slowly. Reliance's decision to stop imports proves economic pressure has limits, but creates real constraints. The reality for global energy markets remains complex. According to Kapler analysis, discounted Russian barrels remain attractive, meaning complete decoupling is unlikely, despite Trump's tariff war. What India loses in cheap oil, it seeks in arms deals and nuclear plants. 6 Russian-built reactors are planned. But here's what is happening. The unipolar moment where Washington could dictate terms to major economies is ending. When a democracy of 1.4 billion people calculates that Trump's volatility outweighs his threats, It signals a fundamental shift in global power dynamics. Understanding these realignments matters. The world order isn't determined by tariff tweets. It's shaped by nations making cold calculations about their strategic interests, one oil barrel and missile deal at a time. The message is clear. Economic interdependence, built over decades, doesn't collapse from one president's pressure campaign. It adapts, diversifies, and endures.